Hello, welcome to Sibling Speaks. My name is Jeniece Stewart, and today we have a special guest with us. We have Patricia.
Hi, my name is Patricia Grove. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and thanks for having me, Jeniece.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you from Mobile?
No, I'm not from Mobile. No, let me not say it like that. It's okay. I'm not from Mobile, Alabama. I grew up in Atlanta. Well, Snellville, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
We kind of went to school together.
Yeah, we did.
We did? We have history.
We did.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am currently a nursing student.
Okay.
I'm getting my bachelor's with my RN nursing degree. And really that's it about me right now. It's just full-time student and just striving to currently open up a business for special needs because we have a lot in common with special needs. You're a special needs parent. I'm a special needs sibling.
You are a special needs sibling, and that's why you're here.
Yes.
To share about your sibling story.
Exactly.
And we really appreciate you agreeing to be on here today and talk about it.
Problem.
Yes. So tell me about your family. Tell me about yourself, because you're a sibling.
I am a sibling. I have two older sisters, one older brother, and one younger brother. My oldest brother is the brother who has cerebral palsy.
Okay.
He was not born that way. There was an accident during birth, and it caused him to have mental retardation, what they call it technically, and cerebral palsy.
All right. Growing
up with him was, I won't say different. For me, it was normal because that's all I knew as an older brother. That's, when I was younger, he was able to do a lot more. So it wasn't like he was just, we just had to do everything for him. We were able to, his favorite thing, he wasn't mobile, but he was able to eat solid foods, and he was able to communicate more physically. He was never verbal, so he was not able to speak. He could never walk, but he was able to communicate by letting you know his favorite food was oatmeal. Okay. So in the mornings, we made oatmeal. He would come, we'll have him sit in the living room and pancakes. And he had to have both at the same time. At the same time. So if you gave him one, you had to give him the other one right after. So if you got a spoon of oatmeal, you better have a fork with a piece of pancake on it.
He liked both.
Yes, he liked both.
And you knew that.
And we did, because he would get angry if, you didn't give it to him fast enough. Right. So he, just nudge you like, come on, can you give me my food really quickly, please?
And the age gap between the two of you?
He is in his 40s. He's almost 46.
Okay.
And I'm 35.
So that's like a decade. That's like 10 years. It is. So him being older than you were able to realize and pick up on that.
Well, my mom taught us when we were young. She let us know what was going on with him.
All right.
And said, hey, this is what it is. This is how we're going to have to take care of him. This is your brother. Okay. Be accepting of him. When you see somebody else like that, don't turn your face up. Don't look at, don't look the other way. Don't treat them differently. We are who we are.
Right.
And he is who he is. So she always taught us that from a young age that, always respect everybody, regardless of if they look different, if they act different, if they can't speak, they can speak. Respect everybody.
That is okay.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and that's really powerful that your mom would even teach you that at a young age.
She did.
And because
very young age.
I know as myself, as a parent, I know that's something that it took me a while to even talk about. So for you to be even him being 10 years older than you, and you already kind of realized those things, that's pretty big.
And and I won't say that at a younger age it was not hard for me to talk about, because it was kind of embarrassing. Okay. So we all used to, when I got school age, because they were all of my siblings, 3 of my siblings were older than me, right? So they were already in school. But then when I got school age, we had to ride what they call the short bus because of my brother.
Okay, so you all rode the bus.
Yeah, we all rode the bus. So guess what? We all got made fun of. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then.
Yeah.
So they really are. But we had the sweetest bus driver. And let me back up, because I was not born in Atlanta, Georgia. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So you've been a little bit everywhere.
So that's where I was in school. My brother was born. They were all born in Illinois, and I was born in Wisconsin. Okay. So in the wintertime there, we had to ride the bus because it was snowing. They didn't have no snow days. Okay. It was you going to school with 10 feet of snow, and that's what it is. So we rode the bus and get off the bus, get out in this elementary school. Oh, ha, kids, they're slow. And I didn't like it then. My sisters didn't like it then, but then we just decided, like, it is what it is. Like, he can't help it. So why are you, you don't understand why people are making fun of it if it's normal to you.
Right.
And excuse me.
It's your family.
Yeah, it's my family and it's normal, so why are you making fun of it? It's not funny.
Yeah.
But
did you ever verbalize that?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
We used to fight. My oldest, well, my middle sister especially, she used to fight. And I was verbally, expressive of it, but I wasn't physically expressive of it. There were a lot of benefits to him being disabled as well. Especially if have you been to Disneyland yet?
No, we haven't done that.
They are very inclusive of people with disabilities. And we went at a young age. My little brother is 10 years younger than me. So we were at the age of Barney and yeah.
So wait, hold on. Go back. So your older brother is 10 years older than you, and then
then it's my oldest
then your
brother,
sisters.
My two sisters, then me, and then my little brother.
And he's 10 years
younger
between you. Wow. Go, Mom.
Yes. So
oh my goodness.
When we got to Disneyland, and this is skipping forward through all the, adversities, because it wasn't, as we got older, we just ignored it.
Yeah.
So, because there's really nothing you can do, because you can't fight everybody, you can't tell everybody to respect.
Well, what do you think would have helped you during that time period?
During that time
looking
period?
back now,
what would have helped then is if the schools were more understanding of people with disabilities, because there are a lot of teachers who don't understand, people with disabilities,
right.
And they don't know how to handle people with disabilities, especially if they're nonverbal.
Yes.
So, the student can't tell you what's wrong, or if they're hurting, or if they're hungry, if they have to use the bathroom or whatever. And then the other students that are there, they don't understand that, this person's going through things just like you are.
Right.
So you can have a stomach ache and they can have a stomach ache too, but you're making fun of them because they can't express it.
Right. It comes out in different ways.
Exactly.
Right.
But if the teachers were more understanding and if they taught classes on how to communicate better, like, sign language, one thing, there was a big thing with sign, but unfortunately my brother can't sign, but if he could, that would have been an opportunity that we had to communicate better or teach people to communicate with him.
Right.
But we try to teach people how to communicate with him through his facial expressions.
Okay.
Because my brother my whole family is big on facial expressions. Like, we cannot hide
how you feel, right.
how we feel because of our facial expressions.
Yeah.
And he is the same way. He will tell you he's angry.
Yeah.
He will cry when he's sad. He will laugh when he's happy. He loves music, and he loves if I sing or my mom sings to him. Yeah. We have a musical family. My sister plays the violin. Well, middle sister plays the violin. Her daughter plays the harp, and my brother plays guitar. So he loves music.
Yeah.
And he loves riding in the car.
Really?
Yes. Loves riding in the car. He will, and I don't know how and I can't say I don't know how he knows, but everywhere we go, he knows when we're like 10 minutes away from home, and he'll just bust out crying. Because he doesn't want to go home. He does not want to go home. He will ride and just be just as happy and laughing and rocking in the chair and,
his peaceful place.
His peaceful place is in the car.
That's pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And the fact that you know that, and y'all know that.
Yeah, we do.
And you can tell that, like, from his facial expression.
Like,
different ways of communicating, and people don't realize there are a lot of ways you communicate.
And he's the reason why I used to manage group homes for adults with disabilities when I lived in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I worked for, I won't say their names, but I worked for a couple companies that are in Atlanta for adults with disabilities. Uh-huh. And it taught me, even though with him, we did Special Olympics, and stuff like that. So I was always around different people with disabilities. So I learned how, to communicate differently with each one, because I connected most with children with Down syndrome and autism.
Okay.
So, and Cerebral Palsy. But going to those special events, special needs Olympics, the Special Olympics and things like that, it taught me how to communicate. And then when I got into managing group homes for adults with disabilities, it was kind of different because a lot of those adults came from psych wards and things like that, and I hate to say it like that, they did.
Okay.
And some of them were abused, so the only way they knew how to communicate was the same way they were taught the abuse.
Right.
So it teaches you a lot of patience, and that's another thing you learn, and another thing that people could learn with dealing with people with disabilities, because you don't know their background, you don't know what they've done or dealt with, what they've experienced, and a lot of people can't handle it. So patience is a huge thing.
Do you think that growing up being a sibling, you became more patient? Like that's something that you learned pretty early?
I didn't have a choice. Well, he was never, I can say with a lot of people with disabilities, a lot have different behavior. Everybody is different, but he was more monotone. He didn't, there was not a lot of that. So it was easy to be patient, but at the same time, it wasn't easy to be patient, because I'm like, okay, now we got to go to another doctor's appointment. Oh, now we got to, and I'm like, can y'all come to my stuff? Can you do it? But
is that something that you used to experience?
Like, it is.
Was it easy to talk about? Like, did you talk about it growing up?
I felt selfish.
If you mentioned it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't. And I don't think my siblings did either, because you feel like, you can walk, you can talk, you can do things for yourself, so why you gotta complain because he needs something?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, you do feel selfish.
Yeah.
But
you didn't know how to talk about it. Like,
right.
I mean, it's hard to express things as adults, so I can't imagine being a child and
you want to say, hey, look at me, and then you're like, no, never mind, don't, it's not about me.
Guilty.
Yeah.
That's really difficult. That's really difficult.
I'm sorry.
Did you ever? No, you're fine. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. Did you ever meet any siblings like yourself? Like, did you?
No, and that's another thing that would have been great if we had siblings or we had the opportunity to communicate with siblings our age, so that we can say, hey, well, you get it, you understand. Well, what did you do in this situation, or but we didn't have that then. So it would be nice to have, or moving forward, if there is something like that, to where siblings, like you're doing, siblings are connecting and having that opportunity to express themselves without having that selfish feeling.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge thing, especially if they care. You're going to feel selfish about complaining about your sibling.
Because you love them.
Yes. And they need more than you need, even though everybody needs. But you need stuff too. You need stuff too.
And it's okay to say that, like, I needed attention.
But you don't feel that.
No.
You don't feel that. You always take that. And I think that's why I grew up such a giving person, because there's always somebody who needs more.
Yeah.
No matter how much less you have, there's always somebody who needs more. So why are you complaining?
Do you find it difficult to ask, like, for help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate asking for help from anybody. I don't care what it is. That could be a piece of gum. I'm not gonna ask you for it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in my nature. It wasn't in my siblings' nature to say, hey, I need my hand out.
Yeah. But now that you're looking back, and even now as an adult, what are things that we can do as a community and as parents? How can we help? Like, what do you see as a need?
Talking about it more.
Yeah.
Having family discussions about, hey, how do y'all feel about such and such? Or, hey, my brother's name is James. We call him Micki, like Mickey Mouse, but it's not spelled the same. But, hey, Micki has a doctor's appointment. Does anybody want to go? Or, who wants to stay back? Instead of everybody piling up in the car and have to go. Yeah. Sometimes we just want to sit home, watch TV, and y'all go and handle that. Or if the siblings are old enough, give the parents a break. Let the siblings take the sibling. Right.
That's powerful. Like, I really find that interesting, because I've read some places where some doctors will include siblings in the conversation.
And that's true.
Ask them, like, do you have any questions about this appointment that you've been sitting in just watching
for hours?
Right.
For hours, and that's absolutely true, though, because I've been on several doctor's appointments with my brother, especially like dental appointments and things like that, and the dentists always are inclusive when you're there. Hey, Mickey needs this, you got to brush his teeth like that since he can't do it himself. let me show you what to do, because he hates toothbrushes.
Yeah.
You stick a toothbrush in his mouth, he's biting the head off of it. Like he does not. Yeah, he does not like toothbrushes.
Yeah.
If it's a spoon with some oatmeal on it, yeah. When he was able to eat, yeah.
Right.
But, and that's another thing. Like as he got older, the situation with him having cerebral palsy got kind of worse.
Okay.
So the more surgeries he had, you know, the more things that he needed.
Yeah.
And he was no longer able to eat solid foods. He's G-tube fed now.
Okay.
He was always using a condom catheter, but now he has the other catheter.
Okay.
He's not as mobile as he was. He's a lot more stiff now.
Yeah.
So all those things, just all those things need to be talked about.
Yes.
How do you feel about, you know, the progression of this person? Are they, you know, what can, as a unit, as a family, what can we do to help them?
So including you in the conversation.
Instead of, you know, the parents going to the doctor's appointment and the kids like, okay, well, now we got to deal with this. Okay,
and
well,
parents are getting older.
Yeah, and as they get older, it's like, well, what's going to happen? Because, you know, and you hate to say it, your parents are not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
So, as siblings, yeah, like,
things.
what are we going to do?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? And having, like, the siblings meetings and things like that, that is a huge thing. That is one of the hugest things to be talked about.
Yeah. Being able to talk to other
Yes. Because you know, your parents are not going to be here forever. You and your siblings are around the same age. And what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And coming together. What do you think? Well, how is he now? How's he doing?
Well, now, this summer, my parents went to Arizona for my oldest niece's high school graduation.
Okay.
And as they were coming back, they got into a car wreck in New Mexico. And it was because of a sandstorm. They said they couldn't see anything in front of them, the hands or anything like that. And there was a 10-car pileup, including tractor trailers were flipped over, and they could hear cars crashing around them. And a car crashed. They stopped during the storm, and a car came crashing into the back of the van. And Micki had a wheelchair van, so he was, because when I was telling you, as he got older, it was harder for them, you know, to move him around. And he had a wheelchair van to where he could just wheel into the van instead of having him to be picked up. Because my parents are older, it's harder for them to pick him up, put him in the chair, put him in the van, break the chair down, you know, then put him, you know, in
so
the
van.
Wheelchair
goes
directly into the van.
Okay. Right.
So when the car crashed into the back of the van crunched in like an accordion and pushed him up into the front seat of the van and just busted up everything. The van was totaled. His chair was totaled. He does not have that chair anymore. Now it's the breakdown chair, and he was hurt really badly. And now my parents have a campaign called Wheels for Micki.
Okay.
It's a fundraiser that they are doing to try to get the wheelchair van back, because the van is like $60,000. Then the chair is even more expensive because it was a special made chair to go into that van. So we have t-shirts, and there's a website that you can go to if you would like to donate for it. Again, it's called Wheels for Micki.
Because he needs his van.
Yeah, he needs his van because he loves riding. Yeah. And it's easier for my parents because they're in their 60s now. So for my dad to have to pick him up, put him in a wheelchair from the house, you know, put him in the van, pick him up, and break down. Yeah, still has doctor's appointments and things like that. It's just like it's harder for them to travel and to get where they need to go. Now it's like, who's going to go, who's going to stay, because he can't stay home by himself. Yeah. And now all of his siblings are gone. You know, they're not in the house anymore. 2 still live in the same state, but they all have their own families. Yeah. So it's harder for people to, you know, just
drop everything and
right. So that's why they're doing that campaign, so that they are able to be up and mobile again, so that, you know.
How are you feeling about this? How do you feel? Like, that's your brother.
You know, it hurt. Yeah. When I found out, it scared me so bad. Because it's my parents and my brother, and I was like, are they okay? What happened? Because, you know, I was calling them, they weren't answering the phones, and I'm like, okay, well, what's going to happen? What happened to Micki? Can they walk? You know, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So when I found out they were okay, well, my parents were okay, I was happy. But then they were like, something's wrong with Micki. And the hospitals in New Mexico wouldn't see him because they didn't know him. And that's another issue that, a lot of parents have with siblings, with children with disabilities. You go on a vacation and something happens to your child, say they have a seizure. You rush him to the emergency room. We can't touch him. He's not my patient. So for him, because he couldn't talk and express what was going on,
right.
They had to ride from New Mexico back to Tennessee with him in pain. My parents said he screamed the entire ride. The entire ride there until they got home and could get him to the hospital, where they found out that he had some kidney issues and some bruising. He had a sore that wouldn't heal and some other issues, and he's still dealing with that. And this happened back in May, and he's still dealing with these issues
from the accident. That's just not. It's not okay. That's not okay.
It's not okay. And it would help if people were more, like I said, understanding and inclusive.
Yeah.
With trying to understand people with disabilities. Okay, he can't talk, but don't turn him away because he can't talk.
You can't dismiss.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
He
still
can't.
Feels. He still.
And you can clearly see he's in pain.
Right.
Because his face shows it. So you can't say you don't know or do it. I can't say they didn't do any X-rays or anything like that. I don't know what they did because I wasn't there. Yeah. But I know he wasn't seen, and I know he was not diagnosed until he got back home because they didn't know him there.
That's a problem with the entire system that we have.
It is.
New Mexico to Tennessee.
New Mexico to Tennessee.
That's a long drive. I can only imagine, being your parents and hearing him screaming and not knowing,
And for him to love riding in the car so much, and now when he gets in the car, he screams. He wants to get out. He wants to just lay in the bed. And that's not Micki. It's not him at all. He sits in this chair. That's not the chair that they had, made for him. He'll sit and cry. And he's been like that for a while.
Yeah.
For months. So hopefully, this fundraiser.
You know what? We're gonna
and the doctor's appointments and everything else, they can get it together to where he is who he used to be, because he's not the same anymore. Micki used to be really happy, and now he's always sad.
That's traumatizing.
The first time I saw him smile again was when we went on a family vacation for Thanksgiving, just passed, and everybody was together, and all I heard was my dad, Micki smiling, and like it was a rarity, but he always used to smile, and that hurt my soul, because I'm like,
the fact that
you're
saying it, because he's not doing it anymore, and we notice it. I mean, where did you guys go for
we
Thanksgiving?
Went to Destin.
Oh, went to the beach.
Yeah, and we were already on the beach. Well, we went 2 hours away.
That's okay. You had the whole
It was
family.
nice. Yeah, it was really nice because I got to see everybody. I hadn't seen them in 2 years, so it was really nice. It was really, really, really nice, especially to see him smile. And I think that's probably why he smiled, because everybody was there. Yeah. Well, excluding and I'm sorry she wasn't there, but she couldn't make it. But my older sister couldn't make it. But I think he was happy to see those he did get to see in school. I never used to mention my brother, and I made a post recently about the fundraiser, and on the top of the post I said I never post my brother because people aren't inclusive. So I will get angry if I see someone put something under a picture of him because how he looks or anything like that, and it always scared me. And I love my brother so much, and I don't want anybody to think I'm embarrassed of him. Yeah, because I'm not. It's other people that I try to protect him from.
You're trying to protect him by not posting him.
Not posting him, because I don't I don't want to make him a spectacle. Because you see now on the internet there's a lot of people with disabilities and they're making fun of them.
Yes.
And it just angers me, and it's like, it's just not a joke, it's not funny, don't expose them like this. And this is why I never ever posted it. And everybody knows I love my brother, but I refuse to make him a spectacle. But I didn't have a choice at that time because I know the needs of him.
Yeah.
So I said, let me swallow my pride and post this online so that people can see, because now it's really,
so they know.
Yeah, so they know, he needs the help that he needs, but I just, ugh.
And you're still looking out for your brother.
Yes,
you're still protecting him and looking out for him.
I just cannot.
And people are cruel. The internet is cruel.
Very. That's why I was so scared to post it, because I said, okay, this is a public post. Everybody's going to see it. Everybody's not nice, regardless of the situation.
How was the response when you did post it?
Very shockingly well.
It was better than you thought?
It did, because I prayed and I was like, please, God, don't let anybody say anything to knock my Christianity out the window. I said, please, Lord, because you know me, and I'm going to, I'm trying to be better for my brother, because I know, one day I'm going to end up taking care of him, or one of us is going to end up taking care of him. Yeah. But I don't want to embarrass him or myself. Right. So please just make this go well. And even for my parents, because my mom told me how hard it was for her to even put herself out there, like
to ask for help.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, okay, if she can do it, because I know my mom. I'm like, she never ever does stuff like. And like I said, growing up, you don't ask for help.
No.
You don't ask for help. So for them to do it, I said, okay, let me just go ahead and post this. But it did very well. I'm still sharing it. And then once my mom gets the information for the t-shirt, she said they'll be out. And I told her, I wish I had the shirt now. She was like, it's going to be out for 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to share it, and we're going to talk about it. And like you said, we have to have the conversation.
Yeah, we do.
And that's why we started Sibling Speak, so we could have these conversations and we could talk to siblings and hear the other side of the stories. Because sometimes you hear from mom, and you hear from the doctors, and you hear from the community.
But you don't hear from siblings.
You don't. And you guys come to all the appointments. You're there. You're in the room.
And we're watching.
You see
listening, learning. There was so much. There were times where nurses came to the house to do like change out his G tubes and things like that. And I had already done it, or my mom had already done it. And they came and who did this? Oh, I did. You need to be a nurse. And that's what inspired me to get into, the nursing field. That, and because I've seen a lot, and I've seen some that weren't so nice and doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing. So I was like, somebody has to make a difference that actually cares about these people. But yeah, it I don't know. It's just, I'm glad I posted it. I'll keep posting it.
That's
but
great.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to tell your story. It's not easy to let people in.
But that's why I commended you too, because I was like, oh my, she is so bold. Because
trust me, people have said some really nasty stuff.
I know.
And you got to keep going, because you don't reach to other people, because there are really good people out there. And that's why I'm so happy you stepped out to tell your story and share it with us. And put yourself out there and tell us about your family, because there are really good people watching and listening. And they care. And there are people that are going to say negative things, and they don't matter.
No.
You matter. Your family matters. Your story matters. And I'm just so blessed that you're able to be here. I'm just thankful.
I thank you for coming, because I actually needed this, because like I said, I never talked about it. Never. I talk about it with my parents.
I was in high school with you. I didn't even know you had a brother that had a disability at all. But I didn't know you had an older brother. I mean, we're in high school. That's 10 years. But if you don't talk about stuff like that, and then nobody probably asks either.
No,
so
they don't. And then the ones that did know or find out about it, they were just like, So I didn't feel the need to bust out in conversation. Hey, my brother. It is what it is. Yeah. We're living that life.
This is our normal.
Right. It's our normal. So.
Well, we're going to start talking about things.
Yeah.
And it's going to be everyone's normal to talk about things that people don't normally talk about and discuss. and keep having these conversations.
You have to.
And I look forward to hearing more about your brother and yourself and seeing you cross that nurses.
Oh, child, I cannot
I'm speaking it out there. It's going to happen.
Oh, I've already spoken into existence.
We're agreeing with you.
Yes.
We're going to figure out ways to get you across that stage. I'm committed to doing stuff like that. So, here with us today, like, I could go on and on and talk to you forever about. I just love talking to you and just hearing your story, and I'm so humbled that you would get on and share with all of us about you, your brother, your family, everything.
Yeah, like, I just want people to be understanding and inclusive. That's the biggest thing, inclusiveness when it comes to people with disabilities. Don't, look at them like they're not human, because they are. Don't look at them like they're stupid, because they're not. They understand just like we understand. They just don't communicate the way we communicate. Right. Some of them. So if you come across somebody, whether it's a little person or, someone with Down syndrome, or anybody that you meet that has a disability, just be inclusive. Say hello to them, because a lot of them appreciate you just saying hello. A lot of them want to come up to you and give you a hug, and I know some people don't like, to be touched or things like that. You can reach out and give them a handshake. Just say hello. Just be inclusive. Yeah. And it's okay. Now that I know it's okay to talk about it and not feel selfish, because we are all human. We all have needs. But as special needs siblings, speak up. If you need something, speak up. If you feel a certain type of way, don't hold it in, because that grows into something else as you get older. So just speak up. Talk about it. Be inclusive. Ask questions. Learn as much as you can. And that's all I can say about that.
Thank you guys for joining us for Sibling Speaks. We're going to be back, but first I want to let you guys know where you can help and support Patricia and Micki and his fundraiser. Now I'm going to just read an excerpt from the fundraiser, and then I'm going to give you the actual link. Most of you already know that we were involved in a major 10-car accident in New Mexico back in May. And as you know, our handicapped accessible van was a total loss. Micki was severely injured, and we've been left with medical expenses. So if you'd like to support, if you'd like to help, if you'd like to give, if you'd like to contact them in any way, then we would like you to go to helphopelive.org, campaign/16361. Again, that's helphopelive.org/campaign/16361. Okay?